Okay, who here has played a live service game? Okay, easier question. Who here has played Fortnite? Live service games are probably defined by the companies that make them as games that are regularly updated with new content, but I'd prefer to define them as games that trap you into playing them like a religion. And not in a good way. They poison the average gamer and trick them into spending money on microtransactions, new store skins, new characters, and I should know all of this because I got poisoned once. I've been sucked into playing Fortnite, Apex Legends, Call of Duty, even FIFA. I feel sick admitting it, but it's because of my crippling football addiction. I just can't fucking stop. Believe me, I hate the fact I've clearly picked up the addict gene at this point and can't put down Warzone for more than 6 months at a time. But once your friends put you on the game, it sinks its teeth into you, and I think that's done in 3 distinct ways. The first of which being the fear of missing out. Again, you've played Fortnite, we established this, so you'll remember when skins like Skull Trooper were seen as uber exclusive items. Skull Trooper released around Halloween 2017 and was available to purchase for 1500 V-Bucks until around mid-November, remaining out of the shop's rotation during Fortnite's big popularity boom as more and more people started playing in 2018. Including yours truly. I remember people clamoring for Skull Trooper's return, because by the time summer 2018 rolled around and more people had started playing after Skull Trooper left the item shop, he was seen as an ultra exclusive skin, a symbol of class status. If you had Skull Trooper, you were OG. Eventually, of course, Skull Trooper returned to the item store and now everyone and their grandma owns him, including me. But you want to know what compelled me to buy him so badly? Because, well, he was gone for so long. Who knows how long it'll be before he's back? Just this once. Of course, some people were vehemently against the return of Skull Trooper because they owned him and liked the status using him gave them. Quote-unquote OG Skull Trooper owners had an exclusive purple style added to their accounts, which effectively became the new way to denote an older player, so I guess everyone's happy? But for those of you who still think shit like this matters, answer me this. Why should Purple Skull Trooper be exclusive to people who bought him before? Is it an incentive for you to keep playing Fortnite and keep buying skins in the hope they become rare and exclusive so you can look OG? If that's your answer, congratulations! You're poisoned. Companies will use these tactics, artificial scarcity, exclusivity, the fear of missing out, to entice players to keep grinding and keep playing and keep buying to secure these items and skins. And it's not just Fortnite. Skull Trooper was an example because in truth, it was the first one that came into my head, but there's so many others in just the live services I've had first-hand experience with. FIFA, or FC, has timed exclusive cards that will be gone forever if you don't complete squad building challenges in time. Call of Duty's Battle Passes, and Battle Passes in general, expire and lock their content away forever. And Apex Legends regularly runs events which encourages you to pay ridiculous fees to unlock an incredibly rare heirloom for any specific character in the game. I knew a guy who was really into Apex Legends once, and when I asked them how much did they spend on the game, they told me it was probably around £700. Please, if you're going to take anything from this video so far, please, do not spend $1,000 on Apex Legends. I think literally every single live service has done something like this at some stage. Hell, every single one with a timed battle pass of some kind is doing this by default, because who wants to miss out on Season 1 rewards? And to be fair, in its least offending cases, I don't think it's that bad to give people incentive to regularly play your game. I'm not a big Overwatch 2 player, yet, but I was more than tempted to start playing for free when Juno was added for an early access playtest weekend. FOMO isn't black and white, because sometimes it's good to encourage users to keep jumping back into your game because, well, an active player base is the backbone of a live service game. It's when companies exploit FOMO to pressure players into either playing their game exclusively or breaking open the piggy bank just to keep up with other players. That's when this becomes an issue. Let's talk about that, by the way, because microtransactions can be fucking evil. I say can rather than are because, well, look. When I make these industry analysis videos, I try my hardest to show both sides of an argument, or at the very least, give reasoning as to why a company does things. But I also like to give my own opinion. My own opinion is that microtransactions are fucking evil, but I guess if I have to be positive for a second, I'd say the main war on microtransactions has been and gone, and we're a slightly more pro-consumer industry for it. And I mean slightly. They undid that when they started charging $70 for AAA games. But seriously, you look back at how things were before and you honestly recoil. There was a solid 5-year period in the 2010s where an online AAA title was synonymous with a Vegas casino. You had to unlock guns in Call of Duty through loot crates. For years. Nowadays, the age of loot boxes is over. We get battle passes instead now. A tiered reward system where you can actually see what you're buying beforehand. But that doesn't mean microtransactions aren't still used to suck you into playing a live service game, because EA are still notorious for it. And yeah, I am gonna single out EA on this. Just bear in mind that pretty much every company that's published a live service game has a predatory microtransaction model of their own. It's just that EA are the best example to use for this kind of thing. In Apex Legends, you can open Apex packs. They're just rebranded loot boxes for cosmetic rewards of varying rarity, specific to each legend. There's different rarities of Apex packs that can either be unlocked through gameplay or by purchasing them with in-game currency, but the only thing anyone is looking for is the bright red glow of heirloom shards. Heirloom shards can be used to unlock a specific cosmetic melee skin for a specific legend, and of course the odds of packing these shards is astronomically low. So EA have generously offered you a solution. You are guaranteed to pack heirloom shards after opening 500 packs. The odds are you'll probably have packed heirlooms before the 500 mark. I think. I should hope? It seems more pro-consumer to create a limit like that, but I think ultimately it just encourages people to purchase more Apex packs to reach 500 quicker. To be fair, there is another way, like I touched on earlier. Apex Legends regularly run these collection events, which are usually centered around a specific character. There will be a whole host of items and skins to collect, and if you collect all of them, you're usually rewarded with an heirloom. Please leave your guess in the comments. How much do you think an entire collection event costs? $160. This is the limited time event where you're guaranteed an heirloom. What are we doing? Hi, Editing Brocos here. I didn't realize this while I was actually making the video and writing the video, so that's poor research on my part, but they've actually changed heirlooms a little bit since the last time I played Apex. They've made them worse. So they've got this new heirloom in the game called the Cobalt Kart that can be purchased for the same 150 heirloom shards that any other heirloom or heirloom skin, as I found out, would be purchased for in the game. But they've also got these customization sets for the Qatar that you can purchase to make it a bit more like personalized, and that's for 10 exotic shards per item, if I can actually focus on it. What the fuck are exotic shards? Well, exotic shards are a new currency in Apex Legends that can be purchased for real money. They go alongside Apex coins, you can purchase them for real money. What the fuck? EA and others create this artificial scarcity which pressures you into purchasing microtransactions. Just drop another $10 in Apex coins to buy a few more packs. You'll get closer to the magic 500, I promise. Maybe this one is the what? No. Grey, blue. When a collection event rolls around, there's even more pressure. If the heirloom up for grabs is of a legend you like or play a lot, of course you're going to feel pressure to just drop a pile of cash at EA's feet for the heirloom because, well, if you don't do it now, this is just FOMO again. Fear of missing out, artificial scarcity, simple jealousy of other players with cooler shit than you. It's all utilized to direct the players towards microtransactions, getting them into the cycle of dumping their coins into packs, buying the V-Bucks for the battle pass, or spending an outrageous amount on COD points for a bundle. Seriously, did inflation hit? I don't remember paying that much for bundles back in the Cold War or Modern Warfare days. Then you repeat it over and over and over and over again, every season, every mid-season, every other week, getting you caught in a cycle. I think there's two things you could be referring to when you mention the live service gaming cycle. The first is literally what we just spoke about. How these companies set up their microtransactions in the most dangerous way possible to entice players into dropping fat wads of cash through things like artificial scarcity. It's wrong, it shouldn't happen, why can't I just buy any Fortnite skin I want at any time? The second though is arguably more dangerous, because not only are companies trying to entice users to continuously drop fat wads of cash on their game, they're trying to make sure you can't stop playing the game. And I'm not even one to go like, ooh, video games are addictive, ooh, video games need regulation. It's just a simple fact. These live service games are designed to make sure you can't stop playing. The fear of missing out is bad enough, sure, but every single competitive live service game, every one I've spoken about here, is designed to maximize player retention. Because you might think, oh, okay, this is all really bad, but at least I can stop playing whenever I want. These games hack your dopamine receptors and fry them. Go look at Call of Duty. Probably the most infamous example of this. Since the dawn of time, they've used a system known as skill-based matchmaking to put you into an optimal lobby based on your own personal statistics. But this used to be a one-time thing. You join a lobby of players, you stay there until you stop playing. But since Modern Warfare 2019, your lobby disbands, and you find a new one based on slight adjustments to your skill rating, essentially. If a game thinks you need to destroy an easier lobby to keep playing, they'll find you a new one. If a game thinks you're getting too good, they'll find you a harder one, encouraging you to keep playing and chasing that great game where you blitz a slightly easier lobby. It's a cycle. They want to keep you online for as long as possible, starving the brain of dopamine just enough that when you do finally get that high, it's enough to keep you chasing it. I mean, me personally, I just thought this game was about like guns and making the US military look as cool as possible for recruitment purposes, but yeah, that works too. Okay, look, I get it. Of course a game wants you to play for as long as possible. And of course a game that relies on its player base venturing over to the item shop wants to make it more likely you'll buy an item. But we all see how toxic this is becoming and has became, right? Not to mention the constant events they'll run. Seasonal updates every 2 months with a heap of changes to get players back on board. Call of Duty do mid-season updates now too. Live services are exhausting to keep up with. They want your full dedication to the game for as long as possible, spending as much as possible so you don't miss out on anything. It's toxic. It's poisonous. How do we break this cycle? Stop playing live service games! It's not as simple as that. I'd really like to just tell people stop playing live service games, because in truth, it's the best way to stop them. Not trying to say it deserved it outright, but reportedly, Ubisoft's free-to-play first-person shooter XDefy might stop receiving content updates if player numbers don't improve by the end of Season 3. And I'm not trying to say that's strictly a good thing. Like a lot of things here, it's not black and white, but it proves to us that if you stop playing the game, companies will stop it. But it's not that simple. Every multiplayer game is live service at this point because it's a business model that works. If I cut out every modern multiplayer game from my library, what would I have left to play with my friends? The truth is, these games are so prevalent that I think unless you play exclusively single player titles, you're not going to be able to avoid them. So do the next best thing for me. Close your wallet. Say no. I won't feed into this service, and walk away from their battle passes. If companies see their revenue drop, they'll start making changes to try and improve. It's that simple. If you stop giving Epic money, or at least kick up enough of a fuss, you see change. And just for one final point, I recently got a job. Like an actual part-time job, not just YouTube, and it's made me realise just how little time you have to play games when it's not the only thing you constantly do. So stick to just one live service game. You can't juggle Apex, Fortnite, FC all at once. It just doesn't work. These things are like part-time jobs in and of themselves, except you're paying. If you're playing one, pick one, and take regular breaks to play some single-player games. Don't let yourself get brain-rotted like I did for a while. It literally couldn't hurt. Go play like Tunic or something. That was free on PlayStation Plus a while ago, and I'm really enjoying it. It's really good. I forgot how to end videos. Just go play Tunic. Okay, goodbye.